It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week? Oh, last week, woo, it was hot over here on this Do Time with Pastor Steph. Tuesday, we talked about the 3 incidences. One, the young lady who was shot with a stray bullet, who lost her life, but the baby survived. We had the wife of 6 months who was chopped up with a tomahawk by her husband, because he felt that they didn't have anything in common anymore. And then you had the motel manager who was beheaded by the disgruntled employee. You know, we talked about the fact that, yes, the enemy is the prince of this world, but is there a possibility that we step out of God's protection? Now, we're not inferring that these 3 people did, but, you know, we also talked about innocent bystanders. Could you be at the wrong place at the wrong time? Well, that really got a nice, interesting conversation going and gave you a lot to think about. Yeah. So that was Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Well, wow, Wednesday rolled around and we had our girlfriend Vivian with her socially conscious segment. And we talked about Rikers Island and ICE meeting on the same ground. Yes, remember we talked a while ago about ICE wanting to set up camp on the site of Rikers Island here in New York City. And we didn't think much of it. Well, guess what? Neither did the judge. Nope, he said, nope, that's not happening. He didn't like the way things smelled. He said, yeah, nah, it don't have a good smell to it. And he vetoed the idea. And very good, because we talked about several scenarios that could have gone down if they were both on the same grounds. And none of those ideas would have amounted to anything but trouble. We also talked about the $350,000 that's going to go into the Chromebooks for our New York City students. Yes, $350,000 from kindergarten all the way up to high school, K through 12, and they'll keep them until it's time to graduate. Well, again, Mayor Eric Adams, this is his initiative. So we're wondering if this could possibly be something that he's throwing into the kitty, considering that it's re-election time. And we also thought about the fact that as great as this idea is, could there have been something else that could have been done with this money? Now, not that these Chromebooks would not be useful, but starting with kindergartners, do you really want to put a kindergartner with a Chromebook? I don't know. I don't know many adults that can handle electronics properly. So I don't know if we really want to go that route. Well, unfortunately, we talked about the 4-year-old who was bitten by a snake, a copperhead venomous snake, during the time he was at his nursery school daycare, and not one adult on the premises thought to call 911. Long story. Go back and listen to it. Boy, talk about negligence at its finest. Well, Therapeutic Thursday rolled around, and we got to talking about whether your life is Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. Ah, tacky or tasteful. We had several scenarios where we laid out the stories. These are true life stories where people really had dilemmas, and we assessed how they handled it, and we rated it tacky or tasteful. Well, one of the scenarios was a woman who is dying, and she has a terminal illness. She's been told that she only has a certain amount of time to live, and she was ready to die. She said, I'm ready to die. I've been depressed since I was 13 years old. But she does not want to tell her children or her husband. She figures she'll just die all by herself, not telling anybody anything, what's going on, any of her suffering. And they'll just wake up one day and she'll be gone. Tacky, tacky, tacky. That's not love. That's not care. I don't want them to go through that. That has nothing to do with them. That has everything to do with you. You're just real tacky. And hopefully she can't hear what we say, but hopefully God will deal with her where she will give her children and her husband the right amount of time that they need, the fair amount of time that they need, that if she's going to leave here, that they can prepare to have her gone. But you surely don't make that decision on your own without the care or concern. And some people feel, hey, like she felt, I don't want to put them through that. Then you don't love me, because I'd rather help you prepare for me to leave here than for you to wake up one day and I'm just not here. No. There are better ways we can do things. So again, not only her, but we had 3 other scenarios, and we're hoping that, there would be some reconsideration as to how they handle things. Well, Freestyle Friday rolled around, and we spoke to our men, and a very interesting conversation ensued unexpectedly, that is. And we talked about the advice that dads give their children that they hope they take now, because later on they may learn to really kick themselves if they don't. And we really got some good advice from our pastors, Jeff, Pastor KL, and our brother Ainsley. And it gave you food for thought, as we always get on a Friday. Something to take us out, something thought-provoking. And, go back and listen to the whole week, because the entire week is filled with advice. Yes, it's filled with godly advice. What would God want us to do? Okay. At one point, everybody wore the bracelets. What would Jesus do? Well, what would God want us to do in all of these scenarios? We talk about everyday living, practical things that go on, things that, should not happen, but ultimately how God wants us to deal with it. And sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree. Well, guess what? The Word of God has one voice, and it does not tell us to do 9 different things. If we want to find some level of order and right decision making, we definitely got to go to that Word of God. So go back and listen. Go back and watch. Make sure you tell somebody that, we're here. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. So each and every time we go on, you don't have to be, you don't have to worry about remembering. You'll be reminded. Yes, I get a reminder. Yes. Not that I need a reminder, but make sure you get that done, okay? Well, today we are shaking the Monday morning blues already, and it is almost the end of the month. September is almost gone. And I just remembered I missed a birthday yesterday. Oh, shoot, Pastor Steph. I got to hopefully make that one up. But listen, we're about to get this morning started. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, Don't go anywhere, because we will be right.
This black woman's invention, millions would still be blind. Her name? Dr. Patricia Bath, and she revolutionized eye surgery forever. Born in Harlem in 1942, Patricia Bath had a passion for science from a young age. She became the first black woman to receive a medical patent and the first to lead an ophthalmology residency program. Her biggest breakthrough? The laser phaco probe, a device that uses lasers to remove cataracts, restoring vision to people who had been blind for decades. Her invention is used all over the world today. But Dr. Bath wasn't just a scientist, she was a humanitarian. She co-founded the American Institute for the Prevention of Blindness, ensuring that vision care was a basic human right. Without Dr. Patricia Bath, millions would still be in darkness. So why isn't her name in every history book? Drop a comment if you think more people should know her story. Follow for more untold black history, because this journey is just beginning.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and we are shaking the Monday morning. Oh my goodness. How is everybody out there? I hope everybody's doing well. You know, I think, what was it, Dr. Patricia Barton? Yeah, they don't think about, some of these major contributions that were, provided by women, African American women. Yeah, they try to push us to the side. And we're so glad that we can pull these things up and learn these things on our own. Yeah. So let's say good morning. Now, if you're out there, I don't know you're out there unless you let me know. So please give me a shout out so I can say a hearty good morning. All right. We got a good morning from our girl, Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. How are you? Thank you so much. Tell Isaiah I completely forgot about his birthday. I got to call him today and say happy birthday. But it's good to see you. Good morning, Your Highness. Brother Terrence. Hey, Terrence, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us. So glad that I got to see Mom on last week. Oh, we got our girl Shantice in the room. Yeah, she's kind of in transition. So we're going to, talk to her later. And we got a shout out from our girl, Tamika. Good morning, Tamika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we are looking forward to talking to you too. Oh, we got our girl, Athena. Hey, Athena. Good morning. Go on my way to work. Amen. And I hope you have a wonderful day as well. Thank you for giving us a shout out. We got Miss Grace in the room. Good morning, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And we got our girl holding it down for us this morning. We got our girl Anika. Good morning. Thank you. We can't neglect to say good morning to her for just making sure we're up and running every morning. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. Well, today is Monday and we do our health tip first thing Monday morning. Now, ironically, we have our PSA this morning with our Dr. Barton regarding our eyes. And this morning, our health tip is about our eyes. Yes. And y'all know I've been struggling. Y'all keep me lifted in prayer so I can continue to read. Every time I think about the fact that my vision is messed up. So it's like in a really weird stage. Yeah, it's really weird stage. I could see far, like to China right now, but stuff that's like right here, I can't see. So that's why you see me struggling. But you know what? If we eat better, and this has nothing to do with me eating better, but it does have something to do with me eating better. Yeah, as we get older, everybody will pretty much have to get their cataracts done. Yeah, it's just a deterioration of certain things and the buildup of other things, and it just has nothing to do with anything in particular. But I do have diabetes, so that definitely aided in the progression of the diabetes. So we're going back to that thing called eating. And we got Athena coming. God spares in a few weeks. We missed her in August, but we got our girl coming back in a couple of weeks, God spares, and we're looking forward to getting, all of that good nutritional information that helps to keep us running. And this morning, again, we're going to talk about our eyes, the things that we can eat. They say that will keep our eyes sharp for years. So come on, make sure you got that pen and paper up, because we got to make sure we see. Every time I think about it, I'm like, okay, God, you got me on your battlefield. Every morning I'm up. I can't be struggling reading. How am I going to do the show? How am I going to teach on Sabbath? How am I going to preach? I got to read the word. I can't just listen to it. I'm sorry. Listening to it is great, but it has to like pour into me from my eyeballs. So we got to keep these eyes sharp. And again, these foods they claim will keep our eyes sharp for years. Oranges. Wow. Now that was one that I have never, ever. They always talk about the carrots. But yet I had no idea that the oranges are the first thing on the list. And let me just magnify this hat so I can see what I'm talking about. They say that vitamin C helps to fight oxidative stress. And again, I said we're going to find out what oxidative stress is. I was supposed to be finding that out for the longest time. But they say it contains bioflavonoids, which may help strengthen your eye tissues. All right, so if we want a snack, grab up those oranges, okay? Almonds, again, nuts, always on any list we ever do. You're going to find nuts, you're going to find beans, you're going to find berries. So let's see if those things are on this list. And yes, we've got almonds on this list. They say loaded with zinc and vitamin E. Oh, it helps the retina and helps to prevent age-related eye issues. Yeah, we getting older, y'all. I'll be 59 in another month or two. God spares my life. So I definitely got to make sure I keep those almonds going. They say almonds are filled with healthy fats that keep your whole body, including your eyes, in good shape. Okay. Next, avocados. Yes. From Mexico. Yes. Avocados. They say rich in components such as vitamin E. Avocados are also packed with healthy fats that help absorb key nutrients for eye health. Wow. Okay. They say the creamy texture makes them easy to enjoy sliced on toast. I told y'all, listen, it was scrumptious. Avocado toast with sweet potatoes. Another healthy food, but it was delicious. So try it. All right. So make sure you get that avocado in you. Blueberries, bow. I told you, blueberries always on the list when we're talking about healthy foods. Boy, rich in many components. The berry supports the health of blood vessels in your eyes and may help reduce inflammation. Wow. They say its deep color hints at its antioxidant power, which helps to protect delicate eye tissues from damage. All right. And remember, we talked about how many ways you can eat those berries. Chia seeds. There we go. That chia pudding, man. And yes, I love me some chia pudding. They say these tiny seeds are powerhouses filled with omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants. They say it supports eye moisture and reduces the risk of dry eyes, especially in today's screen-heavy world. All righty. So make sure you get those chia seeds. The best part about it, you can eat chia seeds like in everything, and you won't even know that they're there. Yeah. Okay. Kale. Wow. Kale. Full of components in this green leafy veggie. They say acts like natural sunglasses, protecting your eyes from harmful light. Wow. They say also delivering a powerful dose of vitamin C, which helps to strengthen the blood vessels in your eyes. Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Eggs. I can't have eggs. Eggs packed with several components. They say eggs help protect your eyes from harmful light and helps support healthy macular tissue. The zinc in eggs also helps your body absorb these eye-friendly nutrients better. All righty. So get those eggs. Salmon. Wow. Salmon packed with omega-3 fatty acids and antioxidants. This fish helps maintain healthy eye tissue and may reduce the risk of macular degeneration. Rich in DHA, want to make sure I get that out properly. It supports the delicate cells in your retina and keeps your eyes moist and comfortable. And that, what happened? Wait, I'm sorry. That's the salmon. Yes. All right. Sweet potatoes. Got you again. So therefore get that, what do you call that? That avocado toast. Listen, avocado toast, you go ahead and you throw on the avocados and the sweet potatoes. I just told you, look, you're fixing your eyes already with one meal. Let's see what it does. Rich in beta carotene and vitamin E, sweet potatoes help support night vision and may reduce the risk of age-related macular degeneration. Wow. Yo, amazing. Red peppers. Wow. Okay. They say packed with vitamin C. Red peppers help protect the delicate blood vessels in your eyes and fight oxidative stress. And throw them in anything. Yeah, red peppers are good. They're light, so you can throw them in there and you wouldn't even know that they were there. Sunflower seeds. Wow. Didn't I say nuts? Yeah, sunflower seeds. Loaded with vitamin E and zinc, sunflower seeds help maintain healthy cells in your eyes and may reduce the risk of cataracts. I used to eat sunflower seeds, y'all, but because I have intestinal issues, I can't eat the sunflower seeds. Yeah, so I got to find other things that help. There you go. I just got finished talking about cataracts and how, pretty much everybody ends up growing to the point of where they have to get their cataracts done and replaced. Not replaced, but removed. That's the word I want to use. Removed. So get those sunflower seeds. Those of you who are younger, it's Teresa. Boy, Teresa gets the bag of sunflower seeds like this big. Yeah. So she should never have cataracts. All right. But listen, All of these things are helping us to prevent our eyes from deteriorating. And remember, they said these things should keep our eyes sharp for years. Well, you see why. Broccoli. Yeah, eat those sunflower seeds because you can't eat the broccoli, Teresa. Full of many components, including vitamin C. Broccoli is a green powerhouse for eye health. They say its fiber content and antioxidant properties help reduce inflammation and support overall wellness. So let's go over that list again. Yeah, you know how Pastor Steph likes to do. I didn't try to memorize it this week, but that's 12 things we have. Oranges, almonds, avocados, blueberries, chia seeds, kale, eggs, salmon, sweet potatoes, red peppers, sunflower seeds, broccoli. So you got like no excuse. Thank you, Anika. She put those in a list for us. Listen, we ain't got no excuse. There are several things in here we could even mix. Well, if you do your smoothies, you got oranges, you've got chia seeds, you've got blueberries you can use, you got almonds. All of those can go into your smoothie. Okay, you eat eggs. You can eat eggs with bell peppers. You can eat eggs with your oh goodness, it was avocados. Yes, you can put eggs and avocados together. You've got eggs, and you can have salmon. Yes. Isn't lox salmon? Yeah, it's like raw. I'm not promoting it, but I'm just saying people eat it. I ain't interested in it, but it's there. But you can eat salmon and eggs. You can put kale in your eggs. Yes. Broccoli in your eggs. Yes. Listen, you can put kale and sweet potatoes. Oh my goodness. The combination is crazy and it's good. Yes. So there's so many things you can do to even mix these things. So let's see. Hey, Pastor Vinny's in the house. Good morning, Pastor Vinny. Good morning, Pastor Steph, the Due Time crew. Prayers for Pastor Brenda as we go for a medical procedure this morning. Absolutely, prayers up for Pastor Brenda. Yes. Thank you for notifying us. All right. And again, thank you, our girl Anika, for putting all of those things in a list for us. All righty, what we got here? Right on time. But again, if you know of some recipes where we're infusing these items, then send it to us. Okay, I'll keep you posted as I get some things on my own as well. All right. What we talking about in the news this morning? Okay, let's see. All right. School just got started. We haven't even been in school for 2 months because the earliest they started was in August. So from August to September is just 1 month. And already we got like scandal. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Miss Charlene. Always good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, here in New York, a middle school student was arrested and charged with sextortion. Well, they caught him with like sextorting, if you will, 4 other students who spoke up. They actually ended up telling, but they believe that there are hundreds So, okay, here's how sextortation goes. What they do is a person will convince you to put something lewd, some nudity on the internet, or send them some nude pictures. And when you do, later they come back and they now say, well, if you don't give me gifts, if you don't give me money, or if you don't do this or that, then I'll expose you. And most times they'll say they'll expose you to your family, because it's done with younger people. So of course, it's, you don't want your family to find out. And one of the biggest things that go on with this sextortation is the fact that it's male based. Yeah, there's not many females involved in this. So, an older man, or in this case, a student, will definitely, they'll tell, come on, send me the pictures. And then when you do, you then get snagged. Now, in this particular case, the boys who were being sextorted, they say they thought it was a female on the opposite side. So they didn't realize it was a boy. Well, they ended up talking, telling the powers that be, and they were coerced into giving like gift cards and things like that. And the cops got involved, and they ended up finding out who did this. So they do have a suspect involved, and hopefully they're not those hundreds that they are fearing that he's snagged. Yeah, it's sad. Yo, you in school, study. If you were to pay attention to all the stuff that you could be doing and learning, then you wouldn't have a moment to be sextorting nobody. Stop. Boy, the things people spend their time doing, it is scary. So hopefully it did not get, too far out. But please talk to your children. They claimed they didn't know this person. Like I said, they said they thought it was a female on the opposite side. So here you are sending explicit stuff to people that you don't even know. And they don't know them if they claim that they thought it was a girl. What are you doing? You ain't got no business sending nothing lewd and nasty anyway. Oh, study. That's how we stay out of trouble. Study. So we're gonna hope and pray that there's not more to this. Well, talk about weird. How in the world? Who held the door open for the bear in New Jersey's Dollar General? That's all I'm asking. They have a story about a bear who managed to get in to a Dollar General in New Jersey, bite an elderly woman. She's 90 years old. He bit her and ended up at the end of the day being shot. So the story is they see this bear in the Dollar General. Everybody is paralyzed with fear. I don't know how he got up on her to bite her. I guess she couldn't move that fast, to get out of the way. But there was one brave man who tried to coerce the bear to come out of the store, but he wasn't playing it. He didn't leave the store. He was trying to get him to the door, but he didn't. They actually shot the bear with something initially, but it didn't work. So they had to end up shooting the bear. So of course there's somebody in the store. Why you had to shoot the bear? What did you think they were going to do with the bear after it bit the 90-year-old woman? Who held the door open for the bear to get in? Now, we have seen some footage. They have shown videos. There was a video I saw on Instagram a few weeks ago where there was a family and the bear came in the house and they were videotaped. They were hiding and they were videotaping, and the bear came in the house and they must have run into like a back area of the home. So he finally comes through the doorway to where they are, and they're filming, and he turns and he literally opens a door to another room. So I'm not understanding what's going on with the bears, but what they're saying is that the bears are being attracted by the garbage, by human food. And if we were to slow down on the levels of garbage that we have exposed, then it would keep the bears away. That's what they're saying here. I don't here in New York, we've been mandated to we can't put garbage out like early. Like they're not gonna come out late, but we have to put them in the garbage can with lids, blah, 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 blah. They've mandated that we purchase, garbage cans with a certain lid. And they've shown that in Manhattan, the rats have eaten through the garbage cans. So I don't know. If the rats can eat through it, then I'm sure the bears are going to get through these garbage cans. So I don't know. But surely this was one weird story for Monday morning, because like I said, I want to know who let the bear in. Who let the bear in? And they said he was just walking through aisles. Walking through the aisles. I tell you, oh my goodness. Ooh, child. The things we got to worry about in this life. We got to worry about the crazy people. We got to worry about the crazy bears. Oh, goodness gracious. What else are we talking about this morning? All right. They're talking about the cruise ships. I don't know if there's a new thing this year, but all of a sudden, because I've been doing this news consistently every day since 2020, and we have never talked about so many cruise lines or cruise ships and the incidences that are taking place on the cruises. And this time they're talking about a cruise ship where they were stranded because there was a fire and a total blackout. Now, the blackout only lasted for a few hours, but on the Celebrity Infinity, yes, Celebrity Cruises, on their Infinity cruise ship, they had some fire and they were doing a Mediterranean tour. So they were out in Greece in the Greek islands, and they had a complete outage. So there was no air conditioning, no lights, no food service, no communications. They say for several hours. Thank God the natives didn't get that restless, and they tried to handle it, as well as they could. Everybody was told to, stay calm. The passengers actually spoke about the calm level of the staff. Well, listen, if y'all stay calm, the people will stay calm. So they really didn't have much of a choice but to stay calm. And the bigger thing that they were concerned about was the fact that because of the delay, they had to skip ports. And they were concerned that they would not get back to their debarkation location where they would get home. Because, of course, if you're taking a plane or whatever from that location, if you don't get back there, you miss your flight. So I was a little confused with this because I was looking for how they were going to compensate these people. So they say that all the guests would receive a refund, a 100% refund, but it was done in two parts. 50% would be a refundable onboard credit, and 50% would be for a future cruise credit, good for another sailing within the next year. Now, that's what I don't like. Now, you're supposed to be compensating me. Don't tell me when I got to use this. If I've just taken a week, how do you know if I'm on a job or if I'm able to get another week within the year? Who are you to dictate that? So I was trying to figure out the 50% 50% refundable onboard credit. So are you telling me you would give me 50%, and then if I wanted to, I could get the onboard credit back? I don't know. But anyway, that's how they compensated it. Most people said they thought that that was fair. And there were a couple that thought that they could be a little more generous. My thing was just give the people 100% their money back. Or either give them the onboard cruise thing. Give them another trip. But you can use it within 2-3 years. I mean, come on. How you mandating that I use this in a year? I hate when they do that. Airlines do that all the time. I hate when they do that. So my thing is, at that point, I don't feel it's a good swap. You just messed up my whole week by whatever happened. Okay, we know things happen. So I'm okay with it. I didn't go buck wild on you. So now you're gonna chump me on the end? Nah, fix that, and then fix that. All right. We got a couple of more stories before we get our due time crew up here. Onto some. We always got these kind of stories. So there's this 4-month-old baby who dies. Guess by the hands of who? Guess. Just guess. Of course, her dad. So here's the thing. Mom and dad are now in jail. But baby, they should have been listening to us last week, because had she listened to us last week, then she could have stayed out of this problem. So here's how this goes. Mom says she goes out this particular time. Now, mom is 28, dad is 36. She says she goes out and comes back. She said when she comes back, she hears the baby crying in this like grueling way. Grueling. She said it was the worst cry she had ever heard. She said, and the baby's 4 months, and she said she was going to call 911, but dad said don't. Now, he told her not to, and I'm trying to remember why he told her not to. Yeah, no, it doesn't say why he told her not to. Okay, but here's the thing. He told the mother that he gave her a bottle before he put her to bed that night. And when they woke up, the baby was not responsive. She was unresponsive. So mom said she tried to provide CPR, but there was no response, and she called 911. When they spoke to the father, that's what he told them. Oh, I just gave her a bottle before she went to bed, blah, 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 blah. And I was playing with her rough before I put her to bed. That's what he told them. Well, come to find out, she had shaken baby syndrome. He had shook her too hard, and she was responding to that. Well, mom says that wasn't the first time he had done that. Yeah. Now, here's why I said that had she been listening to us, she would not have fallen into jail. Because, listen, if I knew he had been shaking her other times, and this particular time I go out and come back and she's crying uncontrollably, and my instinct tells me 911, then I'm calling 911. You're not telling me don't. And because she followed the don't, she's now locked up. Because now they're saying, you the fool. Because you should have followed through and you wouldn't have been accused. Yeah. Yeah. They said that they also saw a text from her to the husband asking him about past injuries noticed on the baby. So had you opened up your mouth, all I would ever need to see is one thing, just a scratch. 911, yes, call. And because she did not, they are in jail on 10% of $1.5 million. Now, if they post their bail or bond, whatever, she has to turn in her passport. So they're making sure homegirl don't go nowhere. Yeah. Come on, y'all. Y'all could have done better than that. Come on, you could have done better than that, Mom. If your instinct's telling you that something's wrong, you got text messages that show. I would use those text messages as proof that, yeah, he said he did it. He said he did it. And I'm telling. No, I'm not going down. I'm not going down. I'm not going down. I'm not going down. Nope. 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 All right. Where's my due time crew? Let's talk to our girl, Tamika. Let's say good morning.
Happy Monday morning. How are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. Amen.
Good. Woo! All right. So we've got this sextortation going on by a junior high school child. Normally, they found that it was, it's been adults that have been, doing this to younger kids. But now they found that, it's a kid right in the same school with them, where the boys who have been victimized are saying that they thought it was a girl. So they sent the lewd pictures over, only to find out that it was not, and it was somebody who was threatening if they didn't give him gift cards and other gifts that he was gonna tell on them. What say you?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on the news, and I was actually shocked. I was like, the travesties of this world are getting younger and younger. Junior high. Like, what is it that you're watching, young man, that makes you feel like, who comes up with this? You had to have seen something, heard something, know something, a family member discussing something. Like, junior high, who comes up with this stuff?
Right.
My heart goes out to the gentlemen, the young men that, sent pictures and now are traumatized that, what I sent will get out. That's just hard. It's complicated, way too complicated for this age.
That, and that's where my thought goes. My thought is, okay, I feel sorry for you. But my question is, why are you sending naked pictures? What you showing, Tamika?
Your stuff ain't fully finished. It's not done in the oven.
Yo, what are you showing? It's like, even if you thought it was to a little girl, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's getting younger and younger and younger, where, you're doing this stuff and, you think this girl is on the other end, saying these little things to you, then coerced you into, taking a picture of it and sending it over. It's like, yo, stay in your place. Study. That's it. Study all of this. I'm gonna send you my little thing, in the mail. It's like, why? Why are we here? So it's so sad, and you feel sad because you're saying to yourself, what is it that you need to prove, or you're trying to show off, if you will, to someone where you get caught up like this. So, they know how to do it. They know how to do it to one another. So it's really a sad situation. Let me go back and make sure I don't have any comments in these things. No, my comments start here. Oh, wait, hold on. You had a comment. Tonight's dinner, citrus glazed salmon with orange slices and red peppers. As a side will be sauteed broccoli. So y'all should be seeing Into China on your own. You ain't got no reason to get no cataracts done. You should get a first time. Yes. Everything on that menu is to help get your eyes sharp. All righty. Okay, so we've got the bear. The bear, who is somebody that opened up the door for the bear. He roaming up and down the aisles of Dollar General, bit a 90-year-old, and now they can't get him out the store. They try to hit him with some, pellets or whatever. It doesn't work, so they end up shooting him. And you've got the bystander saying, why you couldn't tranquilize him, why you had to shoot him. Shoot him or tranquilize him.
Well, that's you always got somebody way over there in the corner that got nothing to do with nothing. Why you had to, and it's funny because you always have an advocate for the perpetrator. Wait a minute. And I'm trying to figure, okay, so let me just think about this thing. So I'm in New Jersey and I'm shopping, doing what I'm doing at 96. You probably can't see that good, and she's. Is that a bear? What do you think? Of all things,
Right.
Poor little granny minding her business and got bit by a bear, and then to insult to injury. So you don't care about the human being that was bit by a bear. It's more important to save the life of this bear.
Yes.
And you can't, they tried to coax him out. I'm sure they tried to do everything. The bravery of the gentleman that, tried to coax him out.
Yeah.
That takes a lot, and most of the time they tell you, I've had some bear training. What the first thing they tell you is when you come in contact with a bear is to play dead. And they'll, you see this great big thing coming towards you. Who is going to lay dead? Who's going to play dead? That's the last thing in the world I would ever think.
Okay.
So,
I'm knocking something down. I'm jumping across the thing. I'm going up in the break room. I'm doing something. I ain't playing nobody's dead. Not only that, you can walk all up and down the aisles. I'm out the door. You may not have found the door, but Stephanie has found the door. I am out of there.
Listen, I'm finding a new exit. I'm going through the window. You going through the door. I'm flying through the window. We good.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, you really want to know why you couldn't tranquilize him, why you had to shoot him. He just bit somebody. So I'm sorry. And we take this bear. Now what we supposed to do with it? So now it's knocked out. So we're supposed to drag it. Oh, stop. Just stop. I'm like, you know what? Why don't we just bite you and see how you feel about this thing? Oh my goodness, Greg. I'm sorry. It's just too much. All right. We just got finished hot off the press with the last one 2 weeks ago, talking about the 2 weeks in a row, because last week we found out that the little girl didn't make it. But now 4-month-old baby's mom knows that there's something going on that's erroneous. And she says nothing. Wait. Let me go back. I'm sorry. I went back. Okay. So Terrence says he wanted to go to the frozen section, the bear. Maybe Terrence had a conversation with him and he told Terrence he wanted the frozen section. Anika says the bears can lift the lids. Well, that's what they have shown us in the videos of when they're like in people's backyards and stuff like that. They lift the lids and they go on through the garbage. Pastor Brenda says, thanks everybody for your prayers. Blessings to all. So, all righty. Now, let me see. Let me make sure I caught all of my. Okay. Anika is talking about the, what do you call it? The cruise ship who went down, and they wanted to compensate their people who experienced this mishap. Let's go back a little bit, by giving them 50% refundable credit on a cruise ship and 50% on board a cruise ship, and they can spend it within a year. Do you think that that's satisfactory, or do you want more?
You haven't, in that, even with the 50/50, you haven't given me anything. You haven't given me any money. So if I go, so with the onboard credit, that means that when I'm on the ship, I get half of that back. But suppose I have some type of issue that I can't make it within a year. Something is going on in my family and I can't get back. So basically, I've lost half on the onboard credit, and you have not refunded me anything. So that I don't get any of my money back. And this is something that was not something that I could have predicted. It wasn't something that was done wrong on my part. I'm sitting here in the dark, and I didn't get to see all of the ports that you promised me.
Right.
You focused on your task, and you're not giving me anything back. And that's one of the things that I hate about all of these. The airline does things like that sometimes. They tell you they won't give you your money back, but they'll say on your next flight they'll give you. But suppose again, you have an issue with the finances and I can't make it that year, then I'm stuck with not having anything. I just gave my money to you for you to just walk off with it, and I don't think that that's fair.
Absolutely. You need to come better than that. You need to come better than that. The nigga says it's still about them maximizing their profits, despite them not providing good service. Absolutely. They're thinking about their profits. They're not thinking about the fact that you won't, use them anymore, or, you're unhappy with your experience. All
when
right.
you're in a room, I'm sorry, just when you're in a room that doesn't have a porthole and it doesn't have a balcony, you are literally sitting there in pitch black. You can't see your hands in front of your face. You can see nothing.
Right.
And
That's
can you imagine waking up from a slumber? You wake up, you looking around, you go to turn the light on, and wait a minute.
Absolutely. Right.
And the time frame for you to find out, because now you have to walk around the ship to find out what's going on in the dark.
That's right. And remember, there's no ability for communication, so they can't even make an announcement.
Exactly.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. A few hours, but it was enough that it disturbed the entire cruise experience. So you need to come better than that. You definitely need to come better than that. All right, we got the story of the 4-month-old baby who is no longer with us because dad then shook her to death. Mom knew, and they're both in jail. And had she listened to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, she would have known to tell. He lied and said, oh, y'all was playing with the baby rough. No, you weren't playing with the baby rough. You killed the baby. Yet again, what are we talking about here?
If you ask me, he never wanted this baby to begin with. The baby's 4 months?
4 months.
And whether it's either that or you don't know how to deal with, these sounds. The baby is going to make noise. The baby's going to cry. The baby's going to, that's how they communicate, and absolutely. It's, that sound that probably you just want it to stop, and you grab the baby and you do one of these, and you shake the baby, but my thing is, this is not the first time that you've done it,
Right.
Baby that small, you don't lift up I've seen, a father lift a baby by the arm, this baby is 4 months. The head is still trying to wobble, and, just little, when I look at little babies, like, how could you even think about hurting? Maybe you just want to, calm the silence, and but in the instance that you did do something, you didn't even, you try to cover. I gave the baby a bottle, and she'll be, and her not following her instincts, her first instinct. We as women are very intuitive and very instinctive, and God gives us discernment for a reason. She did not utilize it. And now the end result is she has no child.
Right. Absolutely. Oh boy. I tell you, the stories just keep on going and going and going. Nobody's learning anything from anyone else's experience. We got to check in from Kyra. Good morning, Kyra. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's see what Pastor KL has to say. Tamika, thanks for joining us this morning. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Good morning.
How are you?
I got one eye open and I'm sleeping.
You all righty. All right, Pastor KL. We've got a story about a bear who made his way into a New Jersey Dollar General. And he's walking up and down the aisles and he bites a 90-year-old woman. And there's a brave gentleman who tries to get the bear out the door, unsuccessful. They come and they shoot the bear with pellets. That doesn't work. So they end up shooting him and killing him. And there's a bystander that says, why you couldn't tranquilize him? Why you had to kill him? Are we killing him or are we tranquilizing him?
I'm killing him. You done bit granny, you dying. You know what I mean? You listen, you are a threat. I'm not trying to save your life. You're not trying to save nobody else's life. You got to go. You know, Yogi wasn't in the forest. Yogi was in the store. You know, I know he's greater than the average bear, but he ain't Superman. It's time for him to die.
All righty. And we've got this cruise ship. They had a complete blackout. So for a few hours, there was no air conditioning. There was no food service. There was no power at all. So there was no communication, no nothing. They missed several ports to the degree that they were really concerned about getting to their last port in time so that they could get, I guess, to their transportation back home. I guess they ended up making it. But as a compensation, they give the passengers 50% refundable onboard credit and 50% towards a future cruise that needs to be taken in 1 year. Some people thought it was fine. Others thought that they could have done better. What's your thought?
I told y'all about going on this Paul and Silas voyage. I told y'all about this. You know, I don't do ships. And these are one of the reasons. Listen, now after you done got on there because you was a dum-dum, yeah, I want my money back. I want all my money back. I don't want a credit. You didn't credit me the lights. You know, when you don't pay your power bill, they don't give you a credit the lights. Or when the lights go off, you know what I mean? No, I want all my money. And then what you're going to do, you're going to sucker me into taking another trip? Is that the dangling of the carrot? I was already in the dock. I'm going to go in the dock again for 50% off? No. So what I'm going to do? Have the lights in the bathroom, but not in the bedroom? No, I'm not going back on. Give me my money. I didn't go on no ports. I'd have had more lights on the port. Then I'd have came back to darkness. You know what I mean? No, that was the trip from hell. That was Paul and Silas. Which one were you? Were you praising or was you singing? Which one were you? No, thank you.
Goodness. Well, we happen to agree with you. We definitely want a refund. I don't think that this 50% of anything is satisfactory. And stop, I'm not a dum-dum. I'm going on a cruise in November, so shut up and stop telling me I'm a dum-dum.
I'll send you a spam sandwich.
Don't tell me I'm a dum-dum. We got to check it from Miss Willie. Hey, Miss Willie, we haven't seen you in a while. Thank you so much for joining us. And we got to check in from Kiwi. Good morning.
Pastor Steph?
Yes.
When you take your pictures in November, bring your flash.
Oh, you know what? I'm not bringing you anything because you call me a dum-dum. So
I'm just saying, bring a flash to the camera.
no, I ain't nothing at all. I'm bringing nothing. All right. Well, today is Relationship Day, and we've got a nice topic. We've got the things women complain about that really don't matter to men at all.
Everything.
Let's see if they've managed to hit on some things that either one of you agree. All right. So they say that women care about the fact that he doesn't pick up on subtle hints. He could care less. Tamika.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is so very true. You kind of waste your time with the subtleties. You're trying to be nice and such and such and such, and you're trying to. And he is completely oblivious to what the hint was that you gave. You might have said, something. Just trying to, because when you're engaging with women, if I say something, you kind of will get a hint and follow through. Men, I literally have to do this in order for you to see it. And sometimes you still don't get it. So it's so annoying. True.
Okay. Tamika says true. Pastor KL, the subtle hints, do you care about?
I mean, we care about it if we get it, but we don't get it. My wife had subtle hints for a Christmas gift for 2 months. Christmas came, I bought something else. She was a little upset. I've been telling you, ring. I'm ringing the ring around the collar. I don't know what ring you talking about. We ain't been in the jewelry store together or not. But she be having subtle hints. She dropped a newspaper down with, I guess, looking back at it, had the ring on it. I threw it in the garbage. I thought it was paper in the way. You know what I mean?
Well, my question is, why throw hints? That's
Right.
dumb. Just say what you want.
Right.
Just say what you want. I'm not throwing no hint to nothing. And then you get mad because he didn't pick up on it. He should know me. Stop being so dumb. Now that's a dumb, Pastor Kill. Listen, please say what you want. Forget about the subtle hints. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache, disappointment, and upset if you just come out and you just say, listen, I like a ring. Now, if he tell you no, then he tells you no. But I'm not gonna play this game that I'm gonna try to throw hints as to what I want. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I want. I don't know. All right.
Asking for an opinion, look out, because you never know what's gonna come back. Ow.
Absolutely. All right. Another thing they say that women care about that men could completely care less about: how he engages with you on social media. Tamika, is that true?
You putting all kinds of subtleties and little things on social media. He checked it and kept going. He didn't even pay attention because you expected that he was going to respond, by you putting, he checked his Facebook. He might not have even seen it at all because you were posting him. Why not just come right and tell him what's the purpose for all this, cloak and dagger?
All right. Pastor KL, how you engage with her on Facebook. She cares, but you don't. Is that true?
That's definitely true. Out with my babe. We had a good old time. Have 50 pictures. Click. Look at us. I go in there and like it and move on to something else. What you want me to say? Yeah, babe, we had a great time. I like when your leg was up. No, I'm not doing all this stuff. No, I'm sorry.
Wow, what's wrong with you? You know what? You going on hiatus.
The pictures. Your mind goes through it. Okay.
After what's been said for the past 2 weeks.
I didn't say it. You can't blame me for something somebody else said. Oh, Lord Jesus, I can't say nothing.
You started it all.
No, the devil is a liar. No, I didn't. Now we gotta act like we in Sister Act.
They learned from you. You set a bad example.
Wow.
You set a bad example. No, but on another note, my thing is, you're married. You're married. We're talking about husbands and wives. You're married. You putting stuff out on Facebook. If he doesn't respond, why does he need to respond? Why are you mad that he doesn't respond? He's responding to you in real life, right? Now that's what you need to be concerned with. Why you don't respond to my Facebook? And I've heard women mad over this stuff. I'm like, why? Why are we upset? Is he paying you attention at home? Why does he have to pay you attention at home and on social media? Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out. Watch what you're concerned about. All righty. Here's an interesting one. He doesn't get excited about what you have on. That new outfit you went and bought. What say you, Tamika? Do you care about that? And he doesn't?
Females are real high on that, and a lot of times, and then when you ask, it looks nice, it's like you're waiting for, him to stop rolling, stop, drop, and rolling. Oh, babe, that's something that we would do. A lot of times, as long as you're presentable and it's not an embarrassment, you don't look like you got on a moo-moo, he's okay. You're presentable, I mean, it's one thing, again, all these subtleties, if you want to ask, you can ask, but again, be cautious. Does this dress make me look fat? No, you'll make you look fat. Just be very careful. If you want to ask, you never know what you'll get.
All righty. Come on, Pastor KL. She got a new outfit and she cares about what you think, but men could care less about it. Is that true?
Well, if you're a man like me, it's not that you care less about it. When I see a new outfit, I see price tag. So I see, can we afford for this new outfit that you try to be cute at? Mm-hmm. For us to go down to Charlene's barbecue, that you're going to get barbecue sauce all over it. You know what I mean? So yeah, sometimes you don't say nothing because you don't want to mess up the day. But in my mind is, you don't have no job. How you keep on buying new outfits to go sit at somebody's barbecue?
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to tell you, that's the common thought for a lot of men. They're like, well, how much did that cost? Or did you really need all them clothes you got in the closet, you really needed a new outfit just to go to the mall, to go shop for another outfit that we need for another occasion? And that's where their mind goes. How much did you spend? How much are you spending? So unfortunately, you may not get the attention for the right reason or the reason you want to get that attention. But baby, you're going to get the attention. You're going to get the attention. All righty. Okay. She cares about the tone of your voice when you're speaking to her. Is that true, Tamika? And he could care less. He's just talking as far as he's concerned.
Absolutely. We as women are very sensitive to not just what's said, but how it was said. And you'll know that because a lot of times when, you respond, well, why you have to say it like that? Mm-hmm. Like, what did I say? and his thing was, I was just responding. And sometimes they're responding out of passion. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're angry. Doesn't mean that they're agitated. Might have also been that you caught him. Be cautious of when you catch him. Was he on his phone? Was he watching TV? Is he watching the game? And you, babe, such and such. What? And at that point, you just disconnect. He's trying to disconnect. It's not that he's agitated. He was tuned into something and you caught him at that time. So now you get what you get. And so, yeah, I would definitely agree. We are very sensitive about how it's presented.
All righty. Pastor KL, she's worried about the tone of the voice you use, but yet just saying stuff. Is that true?
Yeah, that's real true. And like Tamika said, it depends on the situation. If I've been sitting here for 2 hours while you put on a lace front wig, and I'm saying, babe, come on, we're going to be late. But why are you talking to me like that? Well, you've been putting on this wig for 3 hours. How long does it take? I got glue in the car. Let's go.
He said the lace front wig. Oh my goodness. You know, I have many a time said, stop talking to him while the football game on, and now you mad. Stop. You know what time the game start. You know what time the game is over. You got 20 questions that you need to ask about the kids' homework, about the kids' volleyball uniform, about why we doing all of this. You worried about the way he sounds? Then expect it, because you really, now I ain't think about the time you spent putting on the lace front and y'all trying to go. That one I had not considered. But now that Pastor KL has said it, I caution you ladies, be quick about it, because after a while, not only that, I think a lot of times women take a long time getting ready, and it takes men 5 minutes to get ready. So now he didn't got ready. You know, you didn't tell him what time you want to leave, and you still running around trying to get ready, and he ready to go. That's the ready he is. He's ready to go because he didn't got dressed already. So, all right. Oh, here's a big one. She cares about him reading every single word of her long emotional text. Oh my gosh. And he could literally care less. Look at Pastor KL now, Tamika. Right now. You want to look like you interested.
I'm gonna go right there. As soon as you said it, and you know what I'm getting ready to say, Pastor Steph. You know what I'm getting ready. As soon as you said it, did you see his head slant slightly to the right? All of them do that. When they get to the point, and I knew we were going to get to that point in this conversation, it is a body language of every man I have ever seen on this planet. When they are about to disconnect, they turn their heads slightly to the left, and they start looking up to the ceiling like, I'm not listening to what you're saying. I'm just waiting for you to finish this conversation so I can, am I supposed to nod here? Am I supposed to say yes? What am I supposed to do? You know, it's this thing in their mind, like, help me. And so now you want them to take their phone and go through all. They are the second line on that text. They've already decided.
Done.
You do one sentence, they are finished.
Done.
You know, like even sometimes you'll send a text message and say, I'm getting off of work at such and such. I need you to do this. I need you to, and by the way, can you pick up the kids? The only thing you get is yes. I just sent you 5 sentences. Why do I get just one answer? Yeah. So clearly, look at him. He's still not here.
He looks like, I wish they would shut up. Is it true, Pastor K? Tell us what, because I'm telling you, I have had men say, see, Steph, see what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? And if I don't answer this, she gonna be mad. Yeah. What happens when you read this long, oh my gosh, this long text? Just looking at it gives me a headache.
You ever been on Facebook and one of your friends start off the post by saying, long post?
Long story. Yeah.
You don't read it. I'm not doing homework anymore. I'm too old to read novels. I'm not doing it anymore. You can send me a text saying da and said I died in the middle and went to heaven, and then at the end it says, but I'll be home early. Now all I'm reading is what you said in the beginning, and I'll be home early. And then you come home and said, what happened? You didn't call me. I died. When did you die? I told you in the text that I died, but you said you'll be home early. I figured you were just visiting Jesus. What's the problem? How's Jesus doing? Is the streets really have gold up there? I don't want to go through all this. You know what I mean? If you already died, what are we talking? What should I call you about? You died. We'll talk about the streets of gold when you come home. I'm not reading all of that. And then there's always a PS. After you wrote 3 pages, there's a PS. PS what? Give me my PS4.
Oh my God. So I'm laughing for multiple reasons, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, you are hilarious. That's the first thing. I have a daughter. Shawnee's has got to be heard. I don't care. I don't care what happens. You gonna listen to Shawnee's. She don't do a lot of talking, but when Shawnee's is ready to talk, you gonna hear her out. So if we have argued verbally, face to face, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt when she walk off, when that phone goes big, Shawnee's with a text message or two this long. And this is exactly what I do. I said to Shantice, I said, I hope Shawnee's ain't jumping off a bridge, because if she is, I don't know nothing about it. I'm reading that. You didn't say what you didn't say. When you off, I'm done. Because I know when I pick up that and I open that text, it's going to be 900 words. I don't feel like reading all of that. Now, if you just said, I'm sorry, mommy, then that's one thing. But you ain't said, I'm sorry, mommy. I got to read 900 things. And in there, you could be saying, I'm sorry, but I could care less, because I ain't reading all of that. That's why I was laughing, because that's what I think. And I'm telling you, I've had young men, I've had older men. We're talking, and their phones are going off like crazy. Why's your phone going off like that? They were like, Steph, I just walked off from her and we had an argument, and they'd be like, look. She gonna be mad. She gonna be mad if I don't answer her. Why do I have to read all of this? What is she saying? That it, when you just laid it out like that, Pastor K, it was hilarious, because that's exactly what it is. I've said to the ladies, listen, say what you 1, 2, 3. That's it. Because all that long text, they're not reading. How do I know they're not reading it? Because I just got finished telling you I ain't read my own daughter's stuff. So I know I'm not reading your nonsense. Because you got to get it all out. You got to vent. You got to talk about when you get home. Why he want to come home after this? He don't want to come home after this with all of this going on in the phone. And not only that, here's my thing. Why are y'all texting him at work with all of this stuff? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Why is the phones at work? And I'm like, do you want him to bring home the money, or do you want him to lose his job? Because that phone going off, he's not listening to me. I've been texting him from this morning. He didn't answer me back. Or I said 5 things, he only answered one time. What you just got finished saying, Tamika, it's not working. It's not working. Hold on, let me see. I see some stuff going on in this chat room. Oh my goodness. Oh, Anika says Pastor KL had a great breakfast this morning. Teddy says yes. And she says, wow, Pastor KL, I'm in tears. I couldn't even breathe over here. My stomach is hurting so bad. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, I think we got time for one more. But ladies, I think that one hit the Richter scale of, things that you do that men could care less about. All righty. We got to do this. We got to finish this up next week, God spares, because we're only up to like a few. You paid no attention. He paid no attention to you when you gave him the silent treatment. Oh, and she's twisted, but he don't care. What say you, Tamika?
He just got a moment of rest. Because, when we think about it, we are talkers. Women just, I watch men engage with each other, 5 words, and they had a whole conversation. I'm like, wow. We look at the exchange between myself and you, Pastor Steph. We can go. And if this had been a man's show, it would have been finished at 7:30. That's how men engage, and you sitting around the house quiet. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go sit in the room and watch my game. I finally play my game, PS4, whatever. I finally get a moment. So, all that, just say what you got to say, get it over with. Walking around the house, throwing pants, slamming doors, ain't nobody talking. Yeah, he's just like, oh, finally I got a moment of peace.
Pastor KL, how do you feel about the silent treatment? She's twisted. Do you care?
It's the best thing about life. It's the best thing about life. We go in there, we look in the room, we make sure you ain't sick with a thermometer in your mouth. Once we know that you're okay, you just mad at us, it's the best time of our life. It's Christmas in July. It's wonderful. I'm sitting there, oh my God, what did I say to make her shut up? Because I want to say it again next week. You know what I mean? I want to hold on to that because it's working.
And I think the same thing. I'm like, you know what? He probably happy that you didn't just shut up. Now the house is peaceful. What happened that we could make this happen over and over again? So I know which switch to press when it's time for you to be quiet. So ladies, I don't know if that silent treatment is getting you where you think you want to be. All right. We got time for a couple more. He doesn't care how you decorate the house. Tamika, Pastor KL. This is an interesting one for Pastor KL. Tamika, what say you?
You just keep moving stuff around, and he's like, well, it was fine the way it was. Why do you keep moving stuff? Sometimes he might just walk around just to keep the peace. This is something that we do. We got to move things around. We got to take this down, take the painting down, and he's just walking. Listen, just as long as you're happy, I could care less.
Okay. Pastor KL, here's your passion.
Well, I am an interior decorator. I don't want you touching a pillow. A pillow. You can't touch a pillow in my house. No, I said it and I forget it. Every one of my rooms, Pastor Steph will tell you, has a theme to it. If you bring something else, I thought this looked good in the room. No, you better video chat me first before you waste your money, because that's not going in the room. I have 38 plants. I thought I'd bring you a plant. No, I didn't ask for a plant. No. No, you must be driving around in this plant in your car. Make sure you order it because it's going down. No. You can't touch a towel in the bathroom. I'm sorry. No. Your towel is in the closet. Make sure it stays in the closet.
Wow. Yeah, this one was quite different, and I know because of how the interior decorator he is. Yeah, she ain't moving stuff, and she won't be happy. That ain't happening. That is not happening. Okay, one more. We're gonna finish with this one. He forgot the anniversary and the meaningful dates. Wow. He don't care, but you do, Tamika.
Ooh, she flying off the handle on that. Whatever that date was, she treasures it. And the fact that you forgot it, she's losing her mind. And his thing is, he might not have even intentionally meant to do it. It's, oh, shucks, that date. Now, again, we keep talking about those things that she gonna be mad. Now it's 9:00. All the stores are closed. What are you supposed to do? So you give it, you find something that somebody done used, or something that, you can get your hands on, whatever you can get your hands on. You bring this little thing, this little trinket, and she's looking at it like, that's all you thought of me? Now your hands are tied at the last minute trying to, save face.
Pastor KL, those anniversary and those meaningful dates.
You gotta be, when you get married, you have to be strategic. You know, I got married on New Year's Eve. I could not forget that anniversary, New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? So I couldn't forget. I was good. But you folks, let's get married in the summer. It's hot in the summer. Every day is hot in the summer. I'm not gonna remember my anniversary in the summer. And then when the stores close, I gotta figure out what to get you, and I give you this. What's this, baby? Well, we had something blue, but we didn't have nothing borrowed. This was borrowed. This is yours. You know, no, y'all picked the wrong time to get married. You know, pick July 4th, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, you know, stuff like that. You know, Barack Obama's birthday, something.
Let me help you out. When you want him to remember the day you first kissed, the day he met you on the street, the day he gave you the very first card, how long y'all talked when the first time y'all ever talked on the phone, where you were when he, you know, gave you the first flower, you're doing too much. It wears people out. And if you choose to remember those days, then so be it. But you can't get mad that he does not remember. And there are women who are like that. They want you to remember every single day. This is the day we met. He's only thinking about anniversary and birthday. That's it. If you got kids, you want him to remember the kids' birthday. You want him to remember your anniversary. You want him to remember his birthday. You want him to remember mama's birthday. He need to remember sister and brother birthday, daddy birthday, kid's birthday, and the day you first kissed, and the day he gave you the first card, and the day you first met, and the day you talk. No, all that ain't happening. All that's not happening.
Listen, my father can remember our names. Our names. How many times your grandmother or your mama said, "Hey, Joanne, come here. Tony, come here." I'm not Tony. That ain't me. And forget if you ask your daddy, "Well, how old are your children?" "Oh, they're adults now." What that means? They're adults now. How old are they?
They somewhere around 20 and they 35. It's not happening, ladies. All right, we actually, it was a little earlier than I thought. We've got the vibes you're getting from other women. Women care. Men claim they don't care and they don't notice. Tamika.
Vibes. I'm sorry. I'm not getting that part.
The vibes men get from other women that you're claiming as a woman, but he's claiming he ain't noticed, he ain't picking up on it.
It does happen, you know. But you know, if you've got a good-looking partner, you're gonna find that happens all the time, you know. And you know, he may not notice it. You know, you're at a store and the woman is bringing up the stuff, and she comes from behind the counter to where he is to hand him the bag. Your job is to sit behind. You got one job: ring it up, push the bag across the table, hand it to him. No, she comes all the way around to where we're standing to hand him the bag. "Is there anything else you need?" He's like, "No, I'm good, thank you." Completely oblivious. And I'm going, "Did you not see it? She's right there. She's laying herself right at you." Completely oblivious.
All right, Pastor KL, are you really as oblivious as you claim?
Yes. You know, I had my wife complain. "Did you see how she said $12.95?" I said, "What?" I said, "What? $12.95? That's how much it cost. It was $12.95. I'm paying for the stuff." No, she didn't have to say it like that. I like, that's how she speak. No, well, we're gonna stand here and listen to how she speak to that lady. See how much it costs for that lady. See if it's gonna be $12.95. I said, oh my God.
Did you see that she brought me a drink and she didn't bring you anything? I'm sitting. Why you got two drinks there and there's 2 of us at the table? You only sat them at your side, not mine.
Yeah, but she brought 2 straws. She brought 2 straws.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, Shanti says, Martin says, your job is to check coats, then check them. Yes. And men never notice until a man is in a woman's face. And it's true. It's true. It's very true. Oh my goodness, this has been hilarious. So much Mon Thru Time crew. Your contribution to today's conversation, and we pray you have a blessed day. Go somewhere and start paying attention, Pastor KL.
$12.95.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, we have worked our way to the top of the hour, and you know what Pastor Steph means when I say top of the hour. It's time for the switch with Shantice. Let's say good morning to Shantice. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well. Thank you. My stomach is hurting.
Yes, I was over here cracking up too. I don't know what Wheaties Pastor KL ate this morning. But goodness gracious.
All right. What you got for us today?
Okay, so today I have the switch with Shantice, where we make the switch from the streets to our godly seat, and we are up to switch tip 230, which is let God call you out. Now, what was the last switch tip? Stop acting all spiritual, or whatever the title was. Yes, stop acting all spiritual. 2 Timothy 3, I believe it is. I will confirm. I will have Pastor Steph confirm in her closing. Make sure y'all meditate on a particular verse. I'm going to ask Pastor Steph to announce it because I am watching it. And at the tail end of those sets of verses, those verses talk about how people will act in the last days. And those set of verses have been sticking with me hard. And at the tail end of that, it says, make sure you stay away from those people. I do not want to be the set of people that God is like, you see her over there? Yeah. The one with the locks and glasses, the one with no edges. Yeah. Stay away from her. Yeah. Don't go near her. I don't want God to say that to people about me. Okay. When we're talking about letting God call you out, I was watching a post by Priscilla Scherer, I believe it's Scherer. And she ended the post saying, when you can identify that God is talking to you about you, like he's checking you, that's grace. And I've been saying for years, grace is like common sense. You can't buy it. You can't pray for it. You can't study for it. You either get it or you don't. And I'm watching how we can walk ourselves out of grace, the undeserved favor from God, letting God call you out. I cannot tell y'all how many times God has asked me, led me to talk to somebody about them. But when I get to them, it's never about them. It's about somebody else. So for example, hey, what's up? I need your undivided attention because God is saying, I'm calling your attention so-and-so to this. Here are the sets of verses. Because let me tell you something. If whoever God is sending to you, and I'm putting it in quotes, because this is how you test the spirits. The word says test the spirits, okay? If someone says God is sending them to tell you something, he is always going to back it up with biblical reference, always, because he is the word and the word is him, okay? So it's never going to work against each other. I called them telling them to read. I said, I'm going to read along with you, but I need you to read, okay? I need you to read. And they couldn't see it, so I had to read only for them to say, oh, well, thank you for that, because the people around me are doing this. What? This was for you. This has nothing to do with the people around you. And I've had people break things down to me about other people. I can't understand how so-and-so was doing this and da-da-da, and they're explaining themselves. And I'm like, bruh, You don't realize you're talking to me about you, but you think you're talking to me about somebody else. It's a lot to say. Let me tell y'all something. God is not going to use you for someone else if he has not had to check you about it already. So God is using me to minister and to serve other people, right? To let them know this is what God is saying to be watchful for, to stop doing, you need to start doing. These are things that God had to check me about. I know what it is for God to check me, and my bones literally are aching. I'm like, I can't even breathe some of the time. So I'm like, God, wait, I can't take it. Wait, you're going too fast. Hold up. You saying that this is me? You saying I had God tell me, God shut down, and I told Pastor Steph this. He has told me to shut down my Instagram pages a few times, and he was like, you acting like Lucifer. What? Did you just tell me I'm acting like the devil? Whoa, what am I doing? I didn't see it. But his verse that says, my ways and thoughts are higher than your ways and thoughts. This is real, y'all. Let me tell y'all something. Don't be slower. Okay? Matthew 7:3-5, Amplified Version. Why do you look at the insignificant speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice and acknowledge the egregious log that is in your own eye? Or how can you say to your brother, let me get the speck out of your eye, when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, play actor, pretender. First get the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. Now, these are words that came out of Jesus's mouth directly. Egregious means outstandingly bad, horrific, grievous, horrendous, atrocious. Do you know what atrocious means? Horrifyingly wicked. So let me plug that definition in. Why do you look at the insignificant speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice and acknowledge the horrific, horrendous, wicked log that is in your own eye? Meaning, when we're so quick to look across the table and point, what you've done is worse than what they've done. Because even if you try to weigh out the sins, the fact that you're so quick to point their sins out before your own already outdoes the sin that they've committed. Do you understand that? Because that's even more wicked. It is so powerful when God is able to talk to you about you, whether he's talking to you directly, whether he's sending someone to give you a message. That is a true blessing, y'all. Proverbs 11:2. Amplified Version. When pride comes boiling up with an arrogant attitude of self-importance, then come dishonor and shame. But with the humble, the teachable, who have been chiseled by trial and who have learned to walk humbly with God, there is wisdom and soundness of mind. And go back to one of Pastor's Word Prayer Project prayers on Sunday, and she prayed about us being teachable. Chiseled by trial. If you don't allow God to take you through the process of outdoing all the stupidity and the remedial work that is within you, you are never going to be able to let God call you out. And let me tell you something about God. He does not want to expose you. When this whole let God call you out, that's in your one-on-one time with him. But let me explain something to you. When you keep bucking up at God and keep telling God, I don't need one-on-one time with you, I'm good off for you, I don't have no errors, no sins that you have to now correct, he then does it publicly. So when things get blown up in our face, don't blame him, blame yourself. Because he tried to do it secretly. He tried to do it discreetly. He tried to do it privately because he gets no pleasure out of exposing you in front of people. What pleasure do you get out of that? Galatians 6:4-5, Amplified Version. But each one must carefully scrutinize his own work, examining his actions, attitudes, and behavior, and then he can have the personal satisfaction and inner joy of doing something commendable without comparing himself to another. For every person will have to bear with patience his own burden of faults and shortcomings for which he alone is responsible. So for those of y'all who be fronting like y'all not bad, y'all are the worst. You are the worst set of people. I have grown to despise people who, and I had to start asking people. So riddle me this, sir or ma'am. How is it that you can always tell me about somebody else? You could tell me about me, but when it comes to you, you ain't got no faults, no shortcomings, no sins. Ain't nothing you could have done better. Nothing. You disgust me, literally. And I've been staying before God, like, God, I need you to tone the tone of my voice, my body mannerisms, get my speech, because stuff is blurting out, and I have the spirit of self-control, but I'm just, it's annoying. So we have to make the conscious decision of making the switch, of acting like we don't need God's correction, because let me tell you something, he's going to let it come out, and you're not about that life. Okay, you're not going to be able to handle whatever you don't allow God to do with you in private. God forbids he allows it to spill out in front of everybody, or even one other person. You are not going to be able to handle it. So just stop. Jesus is standing there like this. Like, just come to me. Stop. Go to him. Let him wrap his loving, protective arms around you. Make the switch to let God call you out in private. Pastor Steph posting her phone number up here. Call her. She will teach you about humility. Let him check you so that it does not have to spew out in front of everyone, so that now you can possess the grace that he wants to give to you. Thank you, Pastor Steph.
I'm scared to talk.
Because I'm ready to call some people now, like saying you're stupid because you didn't listen to the switch tip, okay?
Should I say thank you, Shantice? I say thank you very humbly. Thank you, Shantice. Thank you. Thank you, Shantice, for your woo. All right. For that switch tip for today. What's the switch tip?
Let God call you out.
Okie dokie. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's episode, and we pray you have a blessed day.
You're welcome. Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Who made her mad? Oh my goodness. Who didn't listen to what she had to deliver? Woo! My. You know, delivering a word. Let God call you out. Okay, so like, where do you even start, Stephanie? All right, so you got two different things here. You got let God call you out. You know, the word of God says, you know, you're stupid. This is what the word of God says. It has nothing to do with Stephanie, Shantice, anybody personally. The word of God says you're stupid. Those who are stupid are the ones who do not like correction. And God is not only talking about correction from man. He's talking about correction from him, any level of authority, your peers, on any level. You don't like to be corrected. And you know, I don't know what I'm finding more, whether it's the younger people who don't like correction or older people who don't like correction. You got the younger people who don't like correction. They just don't like to be told what to do because they want to do what they want to do. I just came across a 13-year-old who slipped and said, I don't like when my mother tells me to clean my room. And I was, you know, he caught himself when he said that. And I said to him, I said, he tried to change it. And I said, nah. I said, the bottom line is you just simply said you don't want to be told anything. You just don't want to be told what to do, period. And when you're so young and you don't want to be told even to clean your room, you are really in trouble, because this is just the beginning of being told what to do. So you don't like authority, you don't like anyone. And at 13 years old, you got, God spares your life. You got a long way to go, because even when you get older, people are still going to tell you what to do, because that's just such as life. God is always going to have something to tell you. When people are older, I know people who fight everything. They have gotten to the age where they don't want to do nothing anyone tells them to do. Why I got to do this? Why I got to do that? Why we got to do that? If it don't make sense to them, then they don't want to do it. And you find if you listen long enough, nothing makes sense to them because they've just gotten to a point they don't want to hear anything from anyone. And God has already classified you as stupid. You don't want instruction. You don't want correction. You don't want anything. And we really do not pay attention to the fact that what we get here on earth, a lot of that comes from God. Not everything, but a lot of it comes from God. A lot of stuff that we get here on earth is actually biblical. But you wouldn't know that because you don't read your Bible. So you think everything is man-made. It doesn't make sense to me. So therefore, why do I have to do it? Well, that was the same thing the 13-year-old said. I don't want my mother to tell me to clean my room. Well, that's the same thing you say as an older person when you say you've gotten too old to have to take instruction from anyone. Have you ever noticed, like, when people are older in a company, let someone young and vibrant be given a supervisor or managerial position? Oh, they lose their mind. Oh, that baby's coming along and gonna tell me what to do. Well, maybe had you done more in your life to move with the time, then they could have given you the position. And maybe there were certain positions they just can't do internally. You can't hire everyone internally for every position. But they just war against the fact that someone new has come in and now that person is telling them what to do. And I'm saying to myself, why can't you just see it as the company wants to go further? And unfortunately, you're not the one to take the company further. You haven't studied. When they were teaching all of these things, when it was computerized and all of this stuff was, you fell back. You didn't want to learn anything. And now you don't want to, boy, that is a huge thing. Well, that's the way we treat God. If we can't take correction from man, you better believe you're not taking correction from God. If you don't want to take instruction from man, then you better believe you're not taking instruction from God. God has already challenged your thinking himself. He says, how can you love me who you have not seen and not love those who you have seen? So he himself is putting the challenge on the table. So when man is saying it, it ain't really man who's saying it, it's God who's saying it. But you're looking at the messenger, and the message can come from anywhere. But because you're expecting the message to sound a certain way, look a certain way, come from a certain direction, you don't want to take it. Let God call you out is huge. I always term it here. I say, God snatches my collar for everything. Oh my gosh, I can't get away with nothing. If my thought is in the right and should be in the left, he's like, hey, excuse me, that way. Is if I do this, he goes, in the wrong direction. And I've learned to appreciate it because I want to make it into the kingdom. That's my ultimate goal. But not only do I want to make it into the kingdom, but I want to live comfortably and as pleasant as I can now. I said it last week, I believe. I don't want to just live now for the second life. So my life here is going to be miserable so that I can make it into the kingdom. No. God has a plan for us here on earth as well as for us to enter into the kingdom. And we are to live as comfortable as possible here. And if we don't allow God to call us out, that ain't happening. Because if we want to live where we want to do the things that we want to do, we're not going to do it right. We don't have the capacity. We were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Our flesh and blood and our own spirit will take us down each and every time. We are not ready to go up against the enemy at all. Anytime the word of God says that the enemy is the prince of this world, we can't challenge the enemy without God. We can't challenge the enemy without Jesus. We can't challenge the enemy without the Spirit of the Lord. We are powerless when it comes up against the enemy. We are powerless when it comes up against our own flesh and blood. We'll lose every time. We don't have the capacity to do this on our own. To be born again is the only way we're going to make it. And if we don't let God call us out, as Shantice has cautioned us, then we're going to be in some big trouble. Because we are not going to amount to anything. We are not going to make the right decisions. We're not going to listen to the right things. We're not going to make the right moves. We are going down, down, and down. The Lord has already said, when you want to do what you want to do, when you want to ignore me, it will lead to a downward spiral. You will not find your way up. You will find your way down. And there are people who really believe that they can do this. I had a person say to me one day, it was quite a few years ago, said to me, y'all keep talking about this enemy. This enemy ain't nothing. The enemy ain't got nothing for me. The enemy can't do nothing to me. Enemy can't challenge me. And enemy, y'all fear the enemy too much. And I said to him, I said, this ain't got nothing to do with fearing the enemy. This has nothing to do with fearing the enemy. It has something to do with knowing that I need God. Because me up against the enemy, that ain't happening. I can't be more than a conqueror by myself. Well, can I tell you something? In lickety split time, I watched him go straight down. When I tell you down, I mean down. When I tell you down, I mean down. And the people that were around him that saw him go down, we could not believe. Now, I'm the only one who's Christian. I don't want to say spiritual, but I'm the only one Christian in his surroundings. Everybody else is non-believers. But none of us could believe the things that he was doing. And we were like, what in the world is going on with you? And he said to me, one day, it was a while, he said, Steph, I can't tell you what happened. He said, I can't tell you what happened. And I used to say to God, what in the world happened? And God said to me one day, he said, he went up against the enemy by himself. He said, you started to tell him. He went up against the enemy by himself. And I allowed the enemy at him, the enemy to have him. He said, because if you go up against the enemy and you think you are strong as the enemy without me, he said, my hands were off. He said, I allowed the enemy access to him because I wanted to show him that without me, you're nothing. And that's what he thought. He said he didn't give credit the way he was supposed to. He didn't say, y'all put too much on the enemy, but if you have God, you can beat the enemy. He said he didn't say that. He said he could beat the enemy. And I let him know, you can't beat no enemy, not without me. And I said to him later, I said, I got a word from the Lord because I'm trying to figure out what in the world happened to you. I said, and you know why you can't figure it out? Because you don't have God in your pocket. I said, God said he gave the enemy access to you. I said, now go back to Job. He gave the enemy access to Job, but he knew that Job would do nothing without God. He was not going down. He was ridden with the illnesses, and all of his stuff was taken away from him that God allowed the enemy. But he himself, Job himself, he said, Job ain't going against me for you, no matter what happens. And he stood up. He stood up and he stood ground for God. But this one didn't do it. He kept going, thinking he could fight. Kept going down and couldn't stop the downward spiral because he did not have God. And I was like, ooh, well, thank you, Jesus, for letting me see that. Not that I would ever think that I would go up against the enemy without God. Because my thing is, I'll tell you in a minute, I ain't nothing without God. But at least I know for sure that I better not ever do that. Let God call you out. That was God calling him out, letting you know, don't try it again. Because this here was minor. When I tell you his mind was gone. But when I tell you how fast It was almost like he said it at 5 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, I was like, oh, what happened? Everybody who watched was like, what happened? That's not like him. He wouldn't do something like that. What happened? Let God call you out. Let God do it before he has to do it. Let him do it before he must do it in order for you to shape up. That's something you don't want. You don't want God to expose you, like Shanti said. Because let me tell you something, exposure is ugly. Because that's what happened. That's what happened. He was exposed. Ugly. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was nasty. And he could do nothing about it. When God puts you out there, you're a done deal until God says he's finished. Do you want that? Because if I were you, my answer would be a clear no. No, thank you, God. Whatever you want from Stephanie, you got. Whatever you bless me with. And let me tell you something. For God to call you out is a blessing. Do you realize that you know how many people I've had to tell? Listen, don't get mad. Get glad, as they used to say on the TV commercial. Because that's God loving you. He says, I chastise those I love. And I call my family. You want God to call you out. Because God says, I'm paying attention to what you do. And I want to keep you from falling. But because God is not speaking to you directly, because you're hearing it come from this one or come from that one, because while that person is talking, you're assessing them. Well, who are you to say something to me about such and such a thing? And you do this. Or at least I don't do that. I'm not as bad as you with that. Pay attention. Listen to the words that are given. And just trust God that he does not want to see you fall. He says that I don't want to see anyone perish. Well, in order to keep us from perishing, God's going to have to make some moves that ain't going to feel too good for us. So just say thank you. Thank you, Father, for loving me so much that you beat me up at times. Thank you, God, for loving me so much that you call me out. Thank you, God, for loving me so much that you would have so-and-so come and tell me, yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it hurts. But if I fix this thing, the pain will go away. And this too shall pass. But as long as I keep walking in this sinful manner, as long as I keep doing things the way I want to do them, as long as I keep paying attention to me and I'm not giving any thought to you, I am watching people right now do things exactly the way they want to do it. They have rationalized it. They walk it out. It's about money. It's about things. It's about status. And they are getting nowhere but a bunch of heartache. Listen to God. What I'm finding is these same people have been cautioned. They've been cautioned. They've been cautioned about something else that would have ultimately led here, but because it didn't look like a certain thing, they didn't make the association. An unstable man is unstable in all his ways. God does not necessarily have to pluck this particular thing in order for this to have something to do with that. No. You are to understand the connection. Understand that God has to cure this in order for that to be different. You know, I always make the association to a crackhead. A crackhead was one of the very few drug abusers that would walk around and ask you for $2. No, it was like they just went to the lows. And listen, drug addicts are drug addicts, but it was just the behavior of a crack addict. That's why people would quickly say you act like a crackhead. Because they you got $2, you got a couple of dollars, you got always begging. And it was like the way it would happen. It was just like just the lows. You got $2, you got $2. And I've watched people come off crack, but they walk around asking for $2. If you don't stop the mannerisms, you will always look like a crackhead. Well, that's how everything else falls into place. If you don't stop doing certain things, nobody will ever be able to tell that you've changed. Because God has got to heal the behavior, because taking away the addiction was only part of the problem. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. When God is grappling at you for this, it's because if he does not deal with this thing, then you will gradually do that thing. But if he helps to cure this thing, then you won't end up there, because this is the root of that. But because God ain't curing that, you think this is fine. So now you're going to dictate to God what he's going to work on. Well, let God call you out on anything, because everything is connected. So if God is calling you out for one thing, you better believe it's connected to something else. And where you would be more comfortable stopping doing this particular thing, he said, I'm not talking about that first before I'm talking about this thing. So pay attention to what he's giving you. Pay attention to what he's stopping. Pay attention to what he's interfering with. Because ultimately, that one thing will be the catalyst into many other things. But if you allow him to call you out on this, then guess what? You won't end up here. And that's the goal. That's the goal for God. That's God's goal. God's goal is to get to the biggest thing. But in order to get to the biggest thing, he's got to start with the smallest thing sometimes. Yeah. Because again, if he just stops you from using crack, but every time you look around, you over here asking people for $2, then I gotta wonder whether you still using crack or not, because the average person doesn't walk around asking for $2. Why? Because $2 don't get you nowhere. But $2 will get you a vial of crack. Oh, pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. What are your mannerisms like? What do your mannerisms indicate? What do your mannerisms show about God? Is God dealing with you? Can people tell by your manner? Can people tell by your mannerisms? Can people tell by the way you act that you in the Lord? Pay attention. Let God call you out. Stop warring against everything God is telling you to do. This is why I started off by saying people war against everything. The little one that warred against his mother telling him to clean his room, and the biggest one, who's the oldest one, who's warring against every other thing. But you got a reason to war. Stop. Because here's what's happening. While you're warring against everything, you're not allowing God to get to the root of that thing. He's saying it's not about them asking you for this or asking you to do that. It's bigger than this. I said to him, listen, if your mother got to ask you to clean your room, you ain't going to do nothing else. Because if you don't see your room as nasty and it needs to be cleaned, something wrong with you, not mama. So if mama has to ask you to clean your room, there's a bigger issue that's existing. Not mom asking you to clean your room. I got the other set that says, I can't stand when they ask me this. I don't want them to do that. Why? Then I automatically know you're not paying God any attention. Because see, God ain't gonna ask you to do these little things. God's asking you to do bigger things. So if you can't do the little things, see, you sure can't do the big things. Pay attention. This thing is a huge thing in a small world. This thing is a small thing in a huge world. Ooh, pay attention. Because God is he's trying to extract this is what I love about God. Because see, you can't figure him out. He says, my ways are hide in your ways. My thoughts are hide in your thoughts. Oh, he's extracting. He's ciphering. He's pulling it out. But all you got to do is position yourself. Stop complaining. Stop warring. Stop looking at the wrong things and just stand still and say, God, I'm here. I'm here ready, willing, and able to take your direction. And as long as the person is not telling me to do anything that's going to hurt me, and I ain't talking about hurting my feelings, I'm talking about doing some real harm to me, then I stand corrected. I stand corrected because I'm going to ultimately know it's not the messenger, but it's the message. And the message can only come from you. I don't understand. I didn't understand what so-and-so was saying, but you know what? I'm gonna figure this thing out because I'm looking to you, and your spirit is going to help me figure this thing out. Because see, my spirit has got to yield to your spirit. Because if I don't connect, if my spirit does not connect with your spirit, then I ain't never going to figure this thing out. Because there's going to be too much thinking on my side. Anytime I got to do all the thinking, I'm already destroyed. Because I cannot stand up to who you are. So pay attention. This practical switch tip today, let God call you out, is huge. And her switch tips are becoming more practical and more practical. More practical and more practical. It's becoming more simplistic and more simplistic. But to people who are disobedient, to people who are unruly, to people who don't want to pay attention to authority, to people who don't want to give in to authority, these are big things. But they're not big at all. They're little things that's going to land on something huge. They're huge things. They're going to affect the small things. So pay attention to everything you get here, because God's got something for you. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping and keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to just give your life to Christ right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship in the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares. Where it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Until then, I love you.